Hello everybody and welcome back to our FM19 Journeyman save where we are currently in charge of Berwick. And we bring you today the first game of the league, our first league game in our managerial career against Edinburgh City, followed by a league game against Albion Rovers, who kind of sound like they have two suffixes as their name, which is a bit odd really. We do have this cup game against Edinburgh in the middle of the week, playing the same team twice in a row, oddly, but I'm not going to show you that one. I'll just tell you the result, and I might bring you the draw if we get through. But I really want to get stuck into this, so quickly run through the team. It's pretty much as it showed last episode, but in case you missed it, you don't know who anyone is, so there's no real point me running through it. Our best players are our strikers and our right winger, and this central midfielder, Ross Brown. And other than that, it's fairly straightforward. The only little change is Robert Wilson, who I didn't show you last video, has came in. Very good centre-back. He was already at the club. He was just on the bench recovering from an injury. He's now stepped in, and he is by far the best centre-half at the club. Still only 23 as well, and looks relatively good. You'll also see I changed the colouring of the numbers, as well as the requirements for numbers to be certain colours, just to better represent this level, really. They were a bit harsh, still having 16 as an excellent attribute. Nobody has 16s down here. It's absurd to ask. Actually, Paul Willis has 16 penalties, so that's a lie. But anyway, let's submit the team and get stuck into the game. So if you did miss last episode, we're playing a 4-4-2 counter-attacking system with a direct style of play. And we're attempting to exploit sort of these two midfielders here, who are both very defensive. So that's the general gist of it anyway. I'm sure it'll all, you'll get a bit more of an idea of it as we play with it, but it's pretty straightforward. So they've got a bunch of players who I don't know. Let's just randomly click on a couple. We don't even know how good they are because we don't have scouts. We aren't scouting our own competition. Give me a second. Which is, by the way, the 4th tier of Scottish football, not the 3rd, as I mistakenly said. How do you scout? Yes, I want to scout our own division. Right, excellent. I should probably set up an assignment for him to scout our next opposition, I guess. But let's go into it. Oh, I don't know what to say. It's our first game in charge. It's our first league game in charge. We obviously had that Tin Pot Cup before this, but go out there and enjoy playing without any pressure on you. They didn't care. They didn't care at all. By the way, I can now do this. I can hide myself. I will definitely forget. I will absolutely forget I can do that. But I can do it. So let's kick off. Let's watch the teams walk out and let's get stuck into our first league game. 10 minutes in then, they have a throw in. McIntyre goes for it. Black is tackled though on the ball and we are now in possession as Scott pumps it forward to Lavery, who runs forward. He takes the shot and it just goes over the bar, but we have a chance within the first 10 minutes. And it's not bad to see at all as there's another highlight here. Todd attempts to pump forward, but we lose out. That's the disadvantage of playing this direct style. But a wonderful challenge from our left midfielder. I think that was Phillips there. They're still in possession though, but it's great to see tackles like that. As they pass forward, Henderson goes for the shot and it does manage to just go in. Not great goalkeeping, it has to be said, and not the best defending I've ever seen. They managed to get an early goal here, which is quite unfortunate really, as Black plays it to Taylor, and I really should have seen, actually. After this highlight, I will just quickly go and check. It's not a bad shot at all, really. I will just go and check where Edinburgh City are expected to finish, because that is obviously quite relevant. So if we go to Edinburgh City, go to the Ladbrokes League 2, and go to the season preview, they're expected to finish 3rd, so they're a decent little side, and not in a what am I looking for here? Not meaning to demean them there by calling them little, just I don't know who they are. So yeah, it's not too bad to be 1-0 down to them, but still we've got time to get back into this game, and I'm hoping we can do it. So 28 minutes in, and Robert Wilson, the centre half I just highlighted, has gone down injured. Potential foot injury. Hopefully it's nothing serious. I'm going to bring on Jack Cook to replace him, but he's not wonderful. He will do is pretty much the thing surrounding him, so we'll get him on the pitch and hopefully it doesn't make too much of a difference on the game. Maybe it'll be for the better. Maybe he's just eager to prove himself. Who knows? Half time is here then, and I was going to say it's not been the most exciting game, but that might be a fault of my own due to the more defensive tactics. So you actually have to press continue there now to get to the screen. That's weird. Oh yeah, you just used to say enter half time, right? And now you have to press continue. That's strange. We're not doing terribly. We've had shots and shots on target. We've just not seen them is sort of the issue. I'm going to go aggressive here and say show me something else. Gary Phillips, who's an influential player, looks stressed, so I'm going to try and calm him down. I appreciate the effort He still looks stressed. Okay, we'll just start the second half, and hopefully it doesn't have too much of an impact on the game that he's stressed, and we can hopefully snatch an equaliser at some point. They're coming forward here then. Kessel's on the ball, and we completely... What? The camera's going everywhere. We've had a red card, we've had an injury. Everything's gone mad. Gary Phillips is injured, and that's the end of the game for him with a potential foot injury. And our left back, who's just been signed, it's his first league appearance for the club, has just been sent off. And we don't have a left winger on the bench. This is a disaster. This is a nightmare. You can sort of play there. Can anyone else sort of play there? What about you? Yeah, a little bit. Not really any better than anyone else there, though. Who is it I was just on who could sort of play there? John Neal. Yeah, let's get John Neal out there. It's a winger on support. He'll be fine. He'll be fine. And then, what do we do about this? I guess Kinnard comes into the centre and gets replaced by Oliver Fleming? God. This is a disaster. This isn't what you want for your first game in charge. 2 injuries and a red. We've used all of our substitutions by force, and it's not a great situation to be in. We're 1-0 down. We've had 2 injuries and a suspension. As Brennan takes a goal kick, I don't see us getting anything from this game, to be honest, now that we're down to 10 men and we've had a... That went out! That went out, ref! I don't know if it's like lower league refereeing or just a visual bug with the game, but that ball definitely went out of play, and the fact it led to a goal is leaving me feeling pretty aggrieved. Blair Henderson scores his fifth of the season. It's the first game. That's not true. It's a decent ball in, headed clear by Neal, who's not really meant to be on the pitch, but it only falls to Kessel, crosses it in, and poor goalkeeping again there by Brennan. These are a much better side than us within the division, so the defeat was a bit expected, but to have it in a fashion where 2 injuries and a red card is certainly not ideal. And the fact that I've got to play them again in the cup isn't really a good thing either. I don't want our morale to get hammered by repeatedly losing to the same team. So Ballatoni hits the post. Henderson goes for goal. Brennan saves and struggles to pick up the ball, but eventually does. How bad is his handling that he can't pick up a stationary ball on the floor? As we have a throw-in, Todd, I mean, that wasn't very good. That's possibly the biggest understatement of the year, but it wasn't fantastic at all. We head it down, but Watson wins it, and we're passing it around quite nicely here. Brennan lumps it up the pitch, doesn't really go anywhere though. Watson back on it again, and takes the strike, saved by Brennan. O'Kane's now off injured. Oh God. He's back on. We can't take him off, so he's stuck out there dying. But they have possession again here. It's not been a great performance from us, but I feel like the circumstances make it hard to judge as a good ball goes forward here, and Lavery takes the strike, and he scores our first league goal of the season. With seconds remaining, is there time to snatch an equaliser as Darren Lavery bags one there, and you see the long ball come in from Willis. It's a beautiful ball, actually. If that was at the top level, you'd be very happy with that. He sort of... I don't know. He sort of cuts to the side a bit early there. I feel like he could have gone closer and knocked it across, but either way, the ball hit the net, so I'm not going to complain. As there is a highlight. If we can win possession back here, is there a chance for us to snatch an equaliser? Cook heads down. Watson, good save from Brennan. If we can win the ball from this corner, there is every chance of us snatching an equaliser from this. And, well, no, we can't. They're in possession. McIntyre whips it in. It goes out for a goal kick. And with just seconds remaining on the clock, you've got to assume that this game is not going to be ours unless we do attack quickly. Brennan lumps it forward. We don't have a right midfielder. We're playing very narrow. Worth noting, by the way, one thing just really quick. I made our home pitch really long and really narrow. So I'm hoping that that can help us win a couple of games. But not today, as we were away, so that wouldn't have had any impact at all. The pitch at home doesn't tend to have an impact when you're away. The loss, a 2-1 loss to the team that are expected to finish third when we're expected to finish ninth, isn't dreadful. Even the 2-0, if you just consider the late goal, a consolation goal, they'd switched off, etc. The 2-0 wouldn't have been a dreadful result. They're a much better side than us. But the injuries and the red card make it so much worse than it should be. Let's aggressively say... Oh no, I want them to have a rest. We've got players dropping dead. Would have been a nice win there, but it wasn't to be. That seems fair. They all looked motivated. I should have done this there. Hold on. That. I should have done that. You can see it now. Look, they're all... Yeah, I still don't quite... I've literally just added that before this video, so I'm still not quite familiar with which button it is on my keyboard. But as you can see, Cowden Beath are in our league. I've heard of them. I've heard of the area. I've heard of Edinburgh as well, to be fair, and Queen's Park. Didn't Queen's Park used to be, like, quite good? Like, fairly recently? No? No? Because this is all the way back to, like, 1998, which is just after I was born, and they weren't any good since then. Let's have a look at these injuries then. 5 weeks to 2 months for Robert Wilson, our best centre-half. I did bring in a physio, so we can now leave players to the physio. I'm not bothered about him getting through the next game of Edinburgh City, and I don't really want to spend the money, to be honest. And Gary Phillips, 5 to 6 weeks again. It's not good. And McKinley's banned for 1 match. Okay. Positive. He's banned for 1 match. The ban applies to all competitions. He just can't play in the cup. That's fine. I don't care that he can't play in the cup. I don't care. I care much more about these injuries than I do about that, put it that way. We don't actually have a full bench. Oh, apparently he can play in the cup. What? Let me go and play this cup game, because it looks like the rules are confusing because it's telling me about over 21 players. And I will bring you back either for the draw or for the game against Albion Rovers. And yeah, I'll catch you then. So, as you can see here, the draw for the Ironbrew Cup second round is today, which does mean we progressed. We beat Edinburgh City. I will just show you the breakdown of this game. So we won on penalties after a 2-2 draw. Now, there is a new signing, a new name you might see on the sheet, which might be all of them because you may not be familiar with the squad yet. It's episode 2. So, yeah, and it's the first games. You've seen 1 match. I wouldn't expect you to be familiar with the squad. But Darren Lavery scored in the 15th minute after they scored in the first. They literally scored from kickoff. It was ridiculous. Darren Lavery equalised, and then it stayed like that until extra time. Chances going both ways. And then new signing, Connor Scullion, who you can see here, 20-year-old player, 2.5-star rating, but ignore that. Look at these stats. They are absolutely beautiful for a poacher. Came on, good chance, good shot, put it away, and all in all, it was wonderful to see him score on his debut. He came on around the 65th minute or something to replace Selwyn Scott. And yeah, he took his chance very well. So they then equalised pretty soon after, same half of the extra time. Stayed like that until penalties, at which point, from out of nowhere, after having a shocking match, Sean Brennan saved 2 penalties beautifully. And yeah, it was wonderful. It was amazing. Also, if I'm not... Have they got 2 Hendersons? They do have 2 Hendersons. I was going to be a bit aggrieved that their same player took 2 penalties. Never mind. Nothing to be upset about. So, with that said and done, let's see who we end up getting in the cup. So, I'm not going to do that. Let's just draw them all. We don't know who the teams are anyway. We get Bohemians from the Irish Premier Division. Okay. So there's Irish teams in this cup. What's DPB? Danxa Bank Premier. What league's that? It looks Irish. I'm not gonna lie. Don't know. No idea. Can't figure out how to check. Can't really be bothered to figure out. But we have progressed in this cup then, and we are going to be playing Bohemians, who... yeah, they might be quite good, but we are playing them away, possibly a chance to earn a bit of money for the club through ticket sales. So, with that said and done, this game against Albion Rovers has been moved to the Tuesday due to, I assume, the game going to extra time. So we will just rush off ahead to that now and get ready to get into the game. Hello everybody and welcome back for the game against Albion Rovers, and we have another new signing to show you. Mark Stowe has joined the team to replace the injured Phillips. I think it was Phillips. Let me check. Gary Phillips. It was Gary Phillips. Okay, Mark Stowe has been signed to replace him. As you can see from his stats here, he looks pretty decent. Only 19 years old, 3.5-star current ability, 4-star potential with, you know, the ability to go beyond that. And just his stats all around just kind of seemed decent to me. Not the best crossing, which is the only worry, but passing at a 10, first touch at a 12, some good physicals, some excellent physicals actually all around. 12 acceleration and 13 pace especially is really nice to see. Good decisions, good vision, and good work rate. I'm just hoping he can just be a good player. He can also obviously play in this central role, although not fantastically, and also attacking midfield in case we ever need that. Only on £70 a week, so it was worth taking a punter, and it was a similar story as Connor Scullion, really. Like, he was on very cheap, and I feel like just for what he can potentially offer, he could be worth it. So there is a lot of temptation for me to give Connor Scullion a start today and play with a double poacher system, because it worked really well in the second half of the cup game. But I'm going to keep with what we've got for now. I don't want to change too much at once. And we've already got a couple of new players coming in with Mark Stowe. Bit of an issue here. If I just hide myself, you can see this big list of injuries which just keeps growing and growing. Uzi C is out for the season. I've not really mentioned him at all because he's out for 7 months. And I don't know if we'll ever see him play. But yeah, he's not a terrible player actually. It's a bit of a shame he's out injured. Otherwise, I think he'd definitely see game time. Daryl Healy is someone else I don't think you've seen. He played in the first game of the Cup. I think he came on as a sub for me. Or did he? I think he did, yeah. Yeah, he did, look, it's here. He came on in the first game as a sub. And he was fine, and then he just got injured, so he's out. Obviously, Kevin McKinley will be back in the next game. He's just out suspended today. The Cup game, for some reason, didn't count, despite it saying that all Cup competitions counted, or all competitions counted, but maybe it's not classed as a Scottish competition because it's got Irish teams in it as well. I don't know. But either way, let's get into this game. Let's submit our team. Same system and a very similar set of players. Oh yeah, Crisp comes in at left back for the suspended left back who we normally play, whose name's just escaped me despite me just talking about him. So they've got a lot of faces. Only one who doesn't have a face. That's never a good sign. Not all of them are from my face pack either. Some of them are just in the game. Some Scottish 4th Division players. Hold on, who are you? Who are you, Albion Rovers? So they lost their first game as well by 3 goals. Like, they are below us in the league, and the season preview predicts them to finish bottom. You'll see though that from the odds though that they're much closer to us than we are to Elgin City, for example. So this is a huge game today. Actually, it could be one that decides where we finish this season if we do end up in a relegation scrap. So with that all said and done, let's get out there. And I didn't give a team talk, did I? Oh well, they never do anything anyway. I always just flatline them. Well, welcome to half-time, everyone. Nothing's happened. There's not been a highlight. This is what I've seen. We went from kick-off to here. We seem to have had the better of the game. We've had more shots on target. That's about it, really. That's all I can really say. We've not done anything. Let's get into them a little bit. Let's get aggressive. Far from pleased. I want to see us, properly go for this. Let's just actually play football. By the way, you can see our massive pitch because, like I said, I made it really long and really narrow. So I'm hoping we can just long ball it up. As they have a corner here, Fisher puts it in and they've scored. I didn't see quite what happened. The camera angle wasn't ideal, but I assume it was Brennan's fault. Let's just watch this again. Fisher puts in the corner, headed down. That's not goalkeeping. It's just not. That's not goalkeeping. 1-0 to Albion Rovers, and that's disappointing. But there is another highlight here. Manson to Fisher, and it looks like they're working it forward. Maybe, though, there is a chance for us to win it back as they pump it forward, and we do reclaim possession. Scott to Brown, up to Stowe. His first touch on the ball we've seen of him, and it's played forward, but we can't get on the end of it as Murdoch has the ball. And this doesn't seem very key. It seems a bit extended, unless they're going to pass it back to their keeper and it goes in. Or we're going to win the ball back as they try to force it forward, and it goes pretty well for them, to be honest. As Gracie is on the ball, he bombs forward, takes the shot, but it goes wide. That's what classes as a highlight in this game, apparently. It's not great, is it? Okay then, 65 minutes in, and nothing is happening, so I am going to make a change. And new man Connor Scullion is going to be that change. He's going to come on as a poacher, and we're going with this double poacher system, which I talked about before the game. It worked very well in the Cup, and it got us a goal there. Hopefully it can do the same here today. Neither of our strikers were particularly playing well, and I need to confirm the changes. That does help when you're making them. And I'm just hoping that Scullion can maybe change the game a little bit here, although they do have a free kick. Wharton goes for it, and the ball's bouncing everywhere. It seems to be relatively clear. We have a throw-in. That's the end of that highlight. No real complaints. Still time for us to bag an equaliser, but time is ticking away very, very quickly. And they make a change, but looks like this is going to be a disappointing result all around. Maybe we should have gone for this a little bit more, you know, them being one of the weaker teams in the league. Maybe going for the counter-attack was a bit negative by me, and we should have gone a bit more offensive. But hindsight's 2020, and that gives us our second league defeat of the season. So I'm just going to say I'm far from pleased with that result, and I'm not quite happy with that reaction. If you just, if I just page down here, it's a button I press, by the way. I'm going to refer to it as paging down from now on. They've not reacted. They don't care. And their ratings aren't good enough to justify that. So let's get stuck into them. Particularly the attackers. Aggressive. Not happy with your finishing. Oh, let's stop that right there then. Bring that back. So that does leave us bottom of the league. And yeah, I am going to go try and figure out how to sort of fix this. We need to start scoring some more goals, I think. And it's not a terrible result, don't get me wrong. It's a 1-0 defeat. But we will be back tomorrow for, again, 2 league matches. We have Sterling and Annan. So, why is that red? Oh, because it was selected. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, we have Sterling and Annan next. So, yeah, we'll be back for that tomorrow. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, tomorrow's will be up at 5:30 PM, as is the same for every day. Or if you want it in your feed, you can use the subscribe button, and that will do that for you. Thank you again for watching, and I hope you have a great night. Goodbye.